Bloomberg Audio Studios. Podcasts, radio, news.
The Stock Movers Report, your roundup of companies making moves in the stock market, harnessing the power of Bloomberg data.
Well, let's take a look at some stocks on the move today in Europe. I'm Stephen Carroll, and I'm joined now by Bloomberg's breaking news editor, Chloe Mellet. Chloe, good morning.
Good morning.
So, online gambling company Evolution, let's start with them. Shares in the red. What's going on?
Yeah, so for Evolution is a very interesting story. So it's a gambling company and it specializes in live online gambling. So essentially providing feeds of games like blackjack and roulette, for example. And what's happened there is that current and former executives were secretly filmed describing how casino games made their way illegally into countries like Iran, Sudan and China. And we're talking about countries that were either under US sanctions or where gambling is illegal. So a really interesting story, and they're sending the shares down this morning. Evolution makes most of its revenue from players in what it describes as unregulated markets, but it doesn't really disclose a breakdown by country, which is actually significantly higher than some of its peers. So if we take a company like Playtech, for example, 90%, actually 92% of its revenues came from regulated markets in 2024. So it seems to be kind of part of that business model. And a former executive says in one of the recordings that Evolution used intermediary resellers to sell its game to markets like South Korea, Malaysia, Thailand, where online casinos are actually illegal. So it's a very interesting story and definitely something to keep an eye on and see how that evolves.
Yeah, definitely one to watch there. Well, let's go to the insurance space next. Beazley down. What's happening there?
Yeah, so Beazley is a specialty insurer. So it operates in business lines like cyber insurance, for example, property insurance. And today it cut its growth guidance. It said that market conditions were really soft and that was due to very strong supply and really high competition. So near term, it's facing those kind of key challenges. But if we look a little bit longer term, it did say that there was some really interesting and positive catalysts going forward. So it said that things like climate change, like cybercrime, like obviously geopolitical uncertainty, all of these things will boost demand for insurance in the long term. So one thing it noted, for example, is a business line that did actually quite well, which is called Marine Accident and Political Risks, so MAP. And that intersects with the geopolitical story quite a lot. So we're talking about insurance, for example, across terrorism, across aviation war, across cargo lines. So all of those things are quite interesting. So it seems that the near term, it's probably not as positive, and that's sending the shares down. But longer term, there might be some positive catalysts there.
Okay, and you've also picked out the Irish food company Glanbia. Their shares up almost over 12%. What's going on?
Yeah, very good morning for Glanbia. So it makes protein shakes, protein bars, supplements, and it's actually really benefiting from the kind of protein craze that we've seen on social media in particular. So people are obviously becoming more health conscious. So it's widening the pool of potential consumers away from just athletes and people who just want to also improve their performance in the gym or eat healthier, etc. So on the back of that, Glanbia raised its guidance this morning, and it's also announced a €50 million buyback. A small area of weakness was the performance nutrition segment, where volumes were a little bit weak, but that's more due to just a really high competition rather than any kind of dip in sales. And the growth runway does look very clear for Glanbia. So Bloomberg Intelligence estimates that the combined addressable market for its lifestyle and sports nutrition brands is $100 billion. So there's definitely possibilities there for further growth for Glanbia, and that's sending the shares up.
The Stock Movers Report from Bloomberg Radio. Check back with us throughout the day for the latest roundup of companies making news on Wall Street. And for the latest market-moving headlines, listen to Bloomberg Radio live. Catch us on YouTube, Bloomberg.com, and on Apple CarPlay and Android Auto with the Bloomberg Business app.